Every morning, millions of seniors wake up and do something that seems completely harmless. In fact, most people think it's actually good for them. They've been doing it for years, maybe their whole lives, without giving it a second thought. But this simple morning habit is quietly raising their blood pressure, straining their heart, and increasing their risk of stroke. And the vast majority of people have no idea it's happening. I'm not talking about skipping breakfast or drinking too much coffee, though we'll get to coffee in a minute. I'm talking about something even more common, something so ingrained in our morning routine that it feels almost automatic. It's checking your phone the moment you wake up. Now, I know what you might be thinking. My phone? Really? How could looking at my phone raise my blood pressure? But stay with me. Because what happens to your body when you reach for that screen first thing in the morning is more powerful and more dangerous than you realize, especially if you're over 60. Let me explain what's happening inside your body. When you first wake up, you're in what's called a parasympathetic state. This is your rest and digest mode. Your heart rate is slow, your blood pressure is low, your body is calm. This is actually the healthiest state for your cardiovascular system. But the moment you grab your phone and start scrolling through emails, news, messages, social media, everything changes in an instant. Your brain perceives this flood of information as stimulation, and often as stress. An email from a family member with a problem. A news headline about something terrible happening in the world. A text message that requires a response. A notification about a bill that's due. Even just the bright blue light from the screen signals to your brain that it's time to be alert and active. Your nervous system immediately switches from parasympathetic to sympathetic. This is your fight or flight mode. When you flip into fight or flight, your body releases stress hormones. Cortisol and adrenaline flood your system. Your heart rate increases. Your blood vessels constrict. And your blood pressure spikes. This isn't a small increase. Studies have shown that acute stress can raise blood pressure by 20, 30, even 40 points in a matter of minutes. And you're doing this to yourself before you've even gotten out of bed. But here's what makes this particularly dangerous for people over 60. Your blood vessels are not as flexible as they used to be. Atherosclerosis, the hardening and narrowing of arteries, happens gradually as we age. Even if you don't have diagnosed heart disease, your arteries are stiffer than they were when you were younger. When your blood pressure spikes suddenly in the morning, those stiff vessels can't expand easily to accommodate the increased pressure. This puts enormous strain on your heart and your arterial walls. This is why most heart attacks and strokes happen in the morning. There's something called the morning surge in blood pressure. It's a natural phenomenon where your blood pressure rises as you wake up and your body prepares for the day. But when you add the stress of immediately checking your phone on top of this natural surge, you're creating a perfect storm. You're pushing your cardiovascular system to its limit at the most vulnerable time of day. And it's not just a one-time spike. This pattern repeats every single morning, day after day, month after month, year after year. This chronic morning stress is training your body to stay in a state of high alert. Your baseline blood pressure creeps up. Your heart has to work harder all the time. Your blood vessels remain constricted. You're essentially giving yourself hypertension, one morning at a time. Let me tell you about another morning habit that's raising blood pressure in seniors, and this one might surprise you even more. It's the temperature of your shower, specifically, taking a hot shower immediately upon waking. Now, a warm shower can feel wonderful, especially if you're stiff or sore. But if you jump straight into a very hot shower first thing in the morning, you're putting significant stress on your cardiovascular system. Here's what happens. Hot water causes your blood vessels to dilate, to expand. This is called vasodilation. When your peripheral blood vessels dilate, your blood pressure can actually drop temporarily. Your body compensates by increasing your heart rate to maintain blood flow to vital organs. Your heart starts working harder. pumping faster. For a young, healthy person, this isn't a problem. But if you're over 60, if you have any degree of heart disease, if your heart is already working harder than it should because of years of wear and tear, this sudden demand can be too much. And then, when you step out of that hot shower into cooler air, the opposite happens. Your blood vessels constrict rapidly. Your blood pressure shoots up. This rapid swing from low to high blood pressure, this sudden demand on your heart, this is when bad things can happen. This is when people have heart attacks in the bathroom. This is when strokes occur. Now, let me talk about the morning habit that everyone thinks is the problem. Coffee. You've probably been told that coffee raises blood pressure and that you should limit it or avoid it. But here's the interesting truth. For most people, including seniors, moderate coffee consumption doesn't significantly raise blood pressure long term. If you're a regular coffee drinker, your body actually builds a tolerance to caffeine's effects on blood pressure. The problem isn't the coffee itself. The problem is how much you're drinking and when you're drinking it. If you're guzzling 3 or 4 cups of coffee first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, especially if you're already stressed from checking your phone, you're amplifying that morning blood pressure surge. Caffeine does cause a temporary increase in blood pressure and heart rate. And if you're already in fight or flight mode from stress and you add a large dose of caffeine to the mix, you're pushing your cardiovascular system into overdrive. But there's another issue with coffee in the morning that nobody talks about. It's what you're adding to it. If you're putting sugar in your coffee, if you're using flavored creamers loaded with high fructose corn syrup and artificial ingredients, you're spiking your blood sugar first thing in the morning. And high blood sugar triggers insulin release, which causes your body to retain sodium. Sodium retention leads to fluid retention, which increases blood volume, which raises blood pressure. See how it all connects? Let me tell you about another morning habit that's incredibly common and incredibly harmful. Skipping breakfast, or eating a high-carb, high-sugar breakfast. I know we touched on this before with whole grains, but it's worth diving deeper, because the impact on blood pressure is significant. When you skip breakfast entirely, your body perceives this as a stressor. Your cortisol levels, which are already naturally elevated in the morning, stay elevated longer. Cortisol raises blood pressure. It also triggers your liver to release stored glucose, which spikes your blood sugar even though you haven't eaten anything. This roller coaster of stress hormones and blood sugar fluctuations keeps your blood pressure elevated throughout the morning. But eating a typical high-carb breakfast might actually be worse. That bowl of cereal, that bagel, that toast with jam, that muffin, they all cause a massive blood sugar spike. Your pancreas releases insulin to deal with the sugar, but insulin doesn't just help cells absorb glucose, it also tells your kidneys to retain sodium. More sodium means more water retention. More water retention means higher blood volume. Higher blood volume means higher blood pressure. And this effect can last for hours. Plus, when your blood sugar crashes a couple of hours after that high-carb breakfast, your body releases more stress hormones to bring it back up. More cortisol, more adrenaline, more blood pressure spikes. You're on a blood sugar and blood pressure roller coaster all day long, and it started with what you ate for breakfast. Here's another morning habit that's sabotaging blood pressure in seniors, and it's something most people don't even think about. It's rushing. Think about your typical morning. Maybe your alarm goes off and you hit snooze a couple of times. Then you finally get up and realize you're running late. You rush to the bathroom, rush through your shower, rush to get dressed, rush to take your medications, rush to eat something, rush out the door. Your entire morning is spent in a state of hurried stress. This rushing activates your sympathetic nervous system. Your body thinks you're in danger, that you need to move fast to escape a threat. Your adrenal glands pump out stress hormones. Your heart rate increases. Your blood pressure rises. And because you're moving quickly, maybe even holding your breath without realizing it while you're scrambling to get ready, you're not breathing properly. Shallow, rapid breathing or breath holding both raise blood pressure. And here's the thing. When you're younger, your body can handle these morning rushes. It can switch quickly between stressed and relaxed states. But after 60, your nervous system doesn't have that same flexibility. When you spike your blood pressure in the morning from rushing, it takes longer to come back down. Sometimes it doesn't come back down at all. You stay in that elevated state all day. Let me tell you about a morning habit that seems healthy but can actually be problematic for some seniors. It's intense exercise first thing in the morning. Now, exercise is generally good for blood pressure long term. Regular physical activity strengthens your heart and improves your vascular health. But if you're jumping out of bed and immediately doing high-intensity exercise, you're asking your cardiovascular system to go from 0 to 60 in seconds. Remember, when you first wake up, you're in that parasympathetic rest state. Your blood is a bit thicker from being horizontal all night. Your muscles are tight. Your joints are stiff. Your heart hasn't had time to gradually adjust to being active. If you start doing jumping jacks or running or heavy lifting within minutes of waking up, your blood pressure can spike dangerously high. This is especially risky if you have any undiagnosed heart disease or if your arteries are partially blocked. The sudden demand for increased blood flow, combined with the natural morning surge in blood pressure, can trigger a cardiac event. This is why some cardiologists recommend that if you exercise in the morning, you should wait at least 30 minutes to an hour after waking. Give your body time to transition gradually and start with gentle movement before ramping up intensity. Now let's talk about a morning habit that affects blood pressure through a completely different mechanism. It's not drinking enough water. Most people wake up dehydrated. You've gone 7, 8, maybe 9 hours without any fluid intake. Your blood volume is lower. When your blood volume is low, your blood becomes more concentrated, thicker. Your heart has to work harder to pump this thicker blood through your vessels. This raises blood pressure. Also, when you're dehydrated, your body releases a hormone called vasopressin. This hormone tells your kidneys to retain water and also causes your blood vessels to constrict. Constricted blood vessels mean higher blood pressure. Many seniors are chronically dehydrated because the sense of thirst diminishes with age. You don't feel thirsty, so you don't drink. But your body is still dehydrated, and your blood pressure suffers. Here's another morning habit that's affecting blood pressure, and it relates to medication timing. Many people with high blood pressure take their medication first thing in the morning. That seems logical, right? Take it early, get it working. But here's what research is now showing. For many people, taking blood pressure medication at bedtime instead of in the morning provides better blood pressure control and significantly reduces the risk of heart attacks and strokes. Why? Because blood pressure naturally dips during sleep. This is called nocturnal dipping, and it's healthy and normal. But some people, especially seniors, don't dip as much as they should, or their blood pressure stays elevated at night. By taking blood pressure medication at bedtime, you get peak medication effect during the night and early morning, which is when you're most vulnerable. But many doctors still prescribe morning dosing out of habit, and patients don't know to question it. There's also the issue of taking blood pressure medication without food. Some blood pressure medications can cause dizziness or low blood pressure if taken on an empty stomach, especially in seniors who might already have some degree of orthostatic hypotension. That's when your blood pressure drops when you stand up. You take your medication, you stand up to start your day, and suddenly you feel dizzy or lightheaded. You might even fall, and falls in seniors can be catastrophic. Let me tell you about one more morning habit that's raising blood pressure, and it's something that's becoming increasingly common. It's sleeping in a room that's too warm. As we age, our ability to regulate body temperature changes. Many seniors keep their homes very warm because they feel cold easily. But sleeping in a room that's too warm can actually disrupt your sleep quality and affect your blood pressure. When your body temperature stays elevated during sleep, you don't get as much deep, restorative sleep. You might wake up more often. Your sleep is fragmented. Poor sleep quality causes your sympathetic nervous system to stay more active. It increases inflammation. It affects your hormones. And all of this contributes to higher blood pressure. The ideal sleeping temperature is actually cooler than most people think, somewhere between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit. When your bedroom is cooler, your body can lower its core temperature, which signals that it's time for deep sleep. You sleep more soundly. Your blood pressure has a chance to dip properly during the night, and you wake up more refreshed with better blood pressure regulation. So what should you do instead? How do you protect your blood pressure in those critical morning hours? First, keep your phone out of your bedroom. I know that's hard to hear, but it's one of the most powerful changes you can make. Use an old-fashioned alarm clock. Give yourself at least 30 minutes after waking before you look at any screens. Use that time to ease into your day gently. Second, create a calm morning routine. Build in extra time so you're not rushing. Wake up 15 or 20 minutes earlier if you need to. Use those first moments of waking to breathe deeply, to stretch gently, to express gratitude. Let your body transition slowly from sleep to wakefulness. Third, hydrate first thing. Keep a glass of water by your bed and drink it when you wake up. Even better, add a pinch of sea salt to your water for electrolytes. This helps restore blood volume and supports healthy blood pressure. Fourth, be careful with shower temperature. If you love a hot shower, take it later in the day, not immediately upon waking. If you do shower in the morning, use warm water, not hot, and finish with a brief cool rinse to help your blood vessels adjust gradually. Fifth, eat a breakfast that stabilizes blood sugar. Protein and healthy fats, eggs, avocado, nuts, Greek yogurt, vegetables. Skip the carbs and sugar that spike your blood sugar and insulin. Your blood pressure will thank you. And finally, move gently. Do some light stretching. Take a short walk. Do some deep breathing exercises. Let your cardiovascular system wake up gradually before you demand peak performance from it. These aren't complicated changes, but they could literally save your life. Your morning routine sets the tone for your entire day. If you start your day by spiking your blood pressure, you're fighting an uphill battle all day long. But if you start your day by supporting your cardiovascular system, by giving your body what it needs to function optimally, everything else becomes easier. Your blood pressure stays more stable, your energy is better, your mood improves, and your risk of heart attack and stroke decreases significantly. The choice is yours. Every morning is a new opportunity to protect your heart and your health.